Boy, Hennythemoor reporting live from the liquor store. How's everybody doing today, man? No, it's Friday. It's the weekend. It's finally time to make that damn liquor store run, man. You know y'all trying to get drunk. Y'all trying to get fucked up. We already know what's up with it, man. So, hey, come on into the liquor store. Make sure you slap the shit out of an Eagles fan on your way in. And you will get half off all items in the store while supplies last. So if you're trying to use that discount, go ahead, get your hands strong, reach back, smack the shit out of them. And we're gonna go shopping. We're gonna go here bottle shopping. It's gonna be all good. So as y'all see, man, I'm tired of talking about the draft. I ain't gonna even lie to you. So we're gonna segue and talk about something a little bit different today. We're gonna actually tie it back into the draft. But the Dallas Cowboys, it's April 14th. They need to be thinking about how they can beat the San Francisco 49ers right now. They don't need to wait or anything else, man. Hey, good afternoon, Regina Green. How are you? I appreciate you coming over to the liquor store and showing love to the channel. So I appreciate you. So yeah, the way I see it, the Dallas Cowboys need to go ahead and get ready to play the 49ers. We played them the last two postseasons. It did not end well either time. So we need to be breaking down what we can do as a team to overcome that obstacle. Because I looked into some playoff numbers, and we're gonna break those down, man. I found some very interesting stuff, between the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers over these last two meetings. So I want to talk to y'all about that. Tell you how I feel, tell you the numbers I found. I'm gonna get y'all opinions about it, and we're gonna rock out just like that. Hey, Raymond Salas, we're good with you. Michael Autry, what's up with you, my boy? I see you coming in with the volcanoes. Jameson Taylor, I appreciate you, my guy. I thank you for coming over to the liquor store and showing love, my boy. So yeah, hey, before I get too far ahead of myself, though, I always do this. I get to rambling on. I don't even give the usual spiel. If you have not already done so, please hit the like button, please hit the share button, and please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to grow the channel. We're at $6.95 right now. We're trying to get to 1,000 to get the page monetized so I can invest back into the platform. Also, we are still doing the raffle for the Dallas Cowboy jersey. It's $5 to enter. If you want to participate, all you got to do is cash out $5 to $Hennythemoor, which is going across the screen on a little banner. So if you want to join for a chance to win a Dallas Cowboy jersey, just send $5. We'll do the drawing on the 25th, which is the day before I leave for the draft. And, the winner will get a Dallas Cowboy jersey of their choice. Just got to give me your size, the player you want, and, of course, your mailing address so I can get it sent to you. So if you want to try and win a Dallas Cowboy jersey of your choosing, just send the $5 to cash out. Hey, Double R, what's up with you, my boy? I thank you for coming over and showing love to the channel. I greatly appreciate y'all. I really appreciate all y'all, man. I wasn't able to actually do the regular show that I do, at 12 with Landlord and West Coast because I had a doctor's appointment. But looks like I'm gonna live long enough to talk shit to some more Eagles fans. Look like I'm gonna live long enough to run a couple more over. So that's always good news to celebrate. So we rocking, man. But yeah, like I said, the Dallas Cowboys need to be trying to find a way. Hey, what's up with your cue ball? I see you, my boy. So right now, man, the Dallas Cowboys need to be trying to find a way to get past the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm going to show you why. So, this really came to my mind, man, when I was doing, I had took a look at the, who the hell that did the interview? Mike. You know the boy. Shit. I had a brain fart this earlier to the damn show. I ain't used to that. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though, man. Martz. Yeah, Coach Martz had went on the radio and defended Dak Prescott today, right? So he went on the radio to defend Dak Prescott. It's all the same stuff we already know. A lot of errors between the quarterback and the wide receiver, too many option routes, guys not, coming back to the ball, this, that, and the third. We already knew that. But, it got me to thinking about perception. Said Mr. Lie too. I had to take my wife to the emergency room. She had a kidney stone. I hate to hear that, man. I hope she's feeling better. She's doing well, man. We praying for it and that she's back to full strength and good health as soon as possible. So yeah, man. So that I actually had seen that. It got me to thinking. Like, Dak Prescott has not really been bad in the playoffs outside of the San Francisco 49ers game. So, I knew that he played bad those two games against the 49ers, but I never actually put it into perspective like how much of a difference it was when he plays everybody else than when he actually plays the 49ers. So I actually did the leg work and broke the numbers down. Hey, Landlord from Alabama, what's up with you, my boy? Hey, that's my dog right there, man. If y'all haven't already, go over there and hit the subscribe button for my boy Landlord. You know, he's still trying to grow. We still rocking. And he will be with me at the draft. So you know it's gonna be lit, man. So just stay tuned for that. So I actually got the numbers broke down for y'all. It might be a little hard to see, but you know, I got the numbers right here. Let me see. Well, they're here somewhere. Hold on. Here it go. All right, so I did the leg work. I know it's a little small. It might be hard to see, but you know I'm gonna read it to y'all. You know, that's what I'm here for. It's like the ghetto reading Rainbow. If you can't read, I'm gonna read it for you. So don't trip. Don't trip. I got you. So right there, as you can see, in the 2 games combined against the San Francisco 49ers, Dak Prescott went 46 of 80 and only has a 57.5 completion percentage. In those 2 games against the San Francisco 49ers combined, he's barely completing 50% of his passes. 57.5, not a good mark to have, right? Only averaging 230 yards a game against the San Francisco 49ers. Only 5.8 yards per attempt, just to put that to perspective. So, you know, not very good. You know, there's running plays that can get you there near 6 yards. So not good. He also only has 2 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a rushing touchdown. Then when you look at his passer rating, it's horrible. 66.7. Right? So Dak Prescott's last 2 playoff losses, he did not look good, you know, against the San Francisco 49ers. But, you know, I want you to look at the other 4 playoff games that Dak Prescott has played in his career. Because remember, I know people be talking about the Dallas Cowboys having issues with the 49ers, but he doesn't really have an issue against anybody else when he actually plays them. Right? Look at these numbers for the other 4 games. Dak Prescott is 91 of 36 for a 67 completion percentage. Right, so Dak Prescott against everybody else, hella accurate. Putting in work, hella accurate. Hitting guys in stride, hitting guys on target. 274.7 yards a game. So he's throwing for damn near 300 yards a game in all these other playoff games. Right, the 4 other playoff games, not against the San Francisco 49ers. So he's doing damn good against them. Passer rating is off the charts. His passer rating totaled up against all these other teams, 107.3. 107.3. So no, that's actually one of the better marks you can come up with, man. So you just look at this, man. Look at it. 9 passing touchdowns to only 2 interceptions in the 4 other playoff games. Plus 2 rushing touchdowns. So if you just remove the San Francisco 49ers games from your mind, right, and you look at his other playoff numbers, he has 11 total touchdowns and only 2 turnovers, throwing for almost 300 yards, completing almost 70% of his passes, has a passer rating of over 100, has 107.3. So realistically, the truth is, even though Dak Prescott has played bad against the San Francisco 49ers, he actually has had elite production against all the other playoff teams. So, you know, that's why I think the Dallas Cowboys should actually look into trying to figure out what's the missing key against the San Francisco 49ers right now. Right? You played them the last 2 seasons in the postseason. You played them once at home, they still beat you. You played them on the road, they beat you. And you're losing in a similar fashion. They don't have a better quarterback than you, right? At no point in your life has anybody thought that Jimmy Garoppolo was a good quarterback. And nobody really thinks that Brock Purdy is this godsend to the NFL. So, you know, you had the better quarterback. What you did not have was the better offensive scheme. You got rid of Kellen Moore. Mike McCarthy is going to be the play caller. Brian Schottenheimer is the new offensive coordinator. And the beautiful thing about it, Brian Schottenheimer has actually played the San Francisco 49ers numerous times. Numerous times. He knows them very well. He was the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, from 2018 to 2020. So, he has seen the San Francisco 49ers a lot. He played them at least 6 times in that time frame. I don't know where they met in the postseason, but he played them at least 6 times in that time frame. So, because of that, you're actually set up to be more successful against the 49ers. He's a guy that should know more of their tendencies. And listen, I do understand, right? He was already on the team. He was already an analyst. I'm pretty sure he already gave them some insight. But, it's different, going out there and actually being the one taking the shot than it is to, just give somebody, tips on how to perfect their jump shot. He wasn't the OC, these last 2 seasons. Right? He wasn't the OC for the last 2 seasons. Hennythemoor was. It was Hennythemoor's show. And, what happened. But, he is a guy that has played who has played against the 49ers, coordinated against the 49ers multiple times. Freight Train, what's good with you, man? So, you should have hope, that you can put a better offensive showing out there. And at bare minimum, right, you should at least have Dak Prescott looking better than what he does. Because his total playoff numbers are brought down because of the 2 games against the San Francisco 49ers. And you can't say that Dak Prescott does not perform in the playoffs, because as a rookie, he went toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers. Threw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 turnover. Scored 31 points as a 4th-round rookie. That's what he did his first postseason game. The very next postseason visit he had a 2-touchdown, 1 turnover performance against Russell Wilson and beat his ass. Right? Even in the game against the Rams that we lost, Dak Prescott was not the issue in why we lost that game. He had a 2-touchdown, 0 turnover game, had a quarterback rating in the 80s. Right? He had a quarterback rating in the 80s. And we still lost that game. So really, Dak Prescott's first 2 playoff losses, he actually played well enough to win those games. It just was not the desired outcome. But, you can never say that Dak Prescott played bad in any of those games. But, it's a different story when you look at our production against the 49ers. You see he only completed 57.5% of his passes. You see he's barely throwing for 230 yards. You see that he's not getting a lot of yardage per attempt with only 5.8. You see that he had just as many turnovers as touchdowns against the 49ers in those 2 games. You see the passer rating is well below what you're used to from Dak Prescott. And look, Dak Prescott, and listen, his passer rating against the 49ers is 41 points lower than his passer rating against everybody else. Because, a 66 passer rating is pedestrian. That's like a backup quarterback. 107 is like an all-pro quarterback. So, really, if we're just being honest, it's not even about Dak Prescott being able to put up an all-pro performance against the San Francisco 49ers. If they could help Dak Prescott to at least, have a passer rating of 80, 90, have a completion percentage of at least 64. It doesn't even have to be up there 67 like the other one. It's about these highs he's having against these other teams and the lows against the San Francisco 49ers. It's about finding a perfect median. You either want to get it up to where his other playoff performances are. There got to be a combination of schematics. There got to be a combination of personnel around him. Or, you know what I'm saying? You got to figure out, how to beat the 49ers at their own game. So, that's what we're going to actually talk about, man. We're going to break down what the 49ers are good at, what their weaknesses are, and then we're going to tie it back into the draft. Because we know free agency is already over. We picked up who we were going to pick up. But, we're going to break down what's the most realistic way to beat the damn San Francisco 49ers. And then, we're going to go take it back to the draft. We're going to see which players in the draft can help us with that. So I'm going to clear this off the screen real quick. I've been showing y'all the stats, Dak Prescott stats, playoff stats. I got it broke down between the 49ers and everybody else. If you're just now coming in, against the San Francisco 49ers, Dak Prescott's numbers are like a backups. Against everybody else that he played in the postseason, his numbers are elite. You could put them up against anybody else. So we're going to see how we can beat the 49ers. And we're going to see if there's anybody in this year's draft, no matter the round, no matter the position, that can help us actually do that. It's about DeMeco Ryans whooping Hennythemoor ass. That is true. Hennythemoor's ass ain't here to get kicked anymore, and neither is DeMeco Ryan, and DeMeco Ryan ain't there either. But, because we should be building to beat both the Niners and the Eagles to get to. And this is the thing: the Dallas Cowboys are already built to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and you know why? Because the Philadelphia Eagles have not beaten Dak Prescott in 4 years. They have not beaten Dak Prescott in 4 years. Jalen Hurts, as good as he is, when he played Dak Prescott, he got blown out by 20 points. Right? So, and this is the thing. The Dallas Cowboys played the Eagles 2 times in the regular season. So even if they are already there in the postseason, you have 2 games worth of analytics, worth of footage, worth of this and that. You play them too often to, really need to prepare for them like that. Like the tendencies of the Philadelphia Eagles, their personnel just about where they know your personnel. Like you are already pretty much built to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. You have pass rushers, you have defensive backs to stop Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. You re-signed Jonathan Hankins to help you fortify the middle, and you have speed on the edges with Michael Parsons, Damone Clark, and these other guys, to contain Jalen Hurts. So you're really already built to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Like you don't have an issue with the Eagles. The only time the Eagles can ever beat you is when Dak Prescott is not there. And so I don't even consider that, because you're going to be playing the Eagles 2 times in the regular season, and you already played them 2 times last year with a better team. You already know how you match up against them. You match up pretty damn good against the Eagles. What you do not match up well against is the San Francisco 49ers. And I believe when you are efficient, you can maintain those numbers. Yeah, I agree with that. But it's about how to get. It's about how to get there. You know what I mean? It's like what schematically works against what the 49ers are going to do, and we should exploit that. So let's just look at the San Francisco 49ers from last year. So we're gonna take a look at their defense first, because offensively it's not really an issue. San Francisco is a team that supposedly convinced us to get more physical, and Hennythemoor try to beat them by passing. F it, he gone. Exactly. So speaking of which, let's take a look at their defense. So last year in 2022, the San Francisco 49ers, I'm actually going to share my screen. This is courtesy of NFL.com. If you want to know where I'm getting these stats from, right? For the screen shared and show you. If you look, they were the second best run defense in the National Football League. They gave up only 1,321 yards in 17 regular season games. Right, so that's damn good with what they were able to do against the run. They were only allowing 3.4 yards a carry, which is amazing. That means you're getting under 4 yards anytime you hold a running back under 4 yards and attempt. That's very good. They did allow 11 rushing touchdowns, but actually moving the ball against them on the ground, it was very much a no-go in terms of that. So they have a very stout run defense. We all knew that. We all seen it. But let's go for a different dynamic. We know that teams aren't really able to run on them. But let's ask the question to the computer. What actually happens though when they allow teams to get off in a run game? Right, because that's an entirely different story. To Cowboys, I'm here in Texas, might get AR-15. Okay. Cowboys need to run at least 25 times a game, throw 20 to 25 times a game more than throw first part of the season, in my opinion. I definitely think the Dallas Cowboys should lean on a run game. It's a weapon. It's a difference. You know what I'm saying? I would understand if you were not actually able to be productive in the run game, but the Dallas Cowboys have shown, at least when their line is healthy, that they're able to run and get very positive yardage in the run game. But let's see. Let me see. I'm finna see something. I'm finna see what the 49ers record is when they actually allow a 100-yard rusher. Hold on. Let me see. Hey, what's up with your action pal? What up, Hennythemoor? Came to get an old drink. I know that's what's up, man. I appreciate you for coming through the liquor store. Hey, remember, man, you slap the shit out of an Eagles fan now, you will get a discount. You will get a discount. All right, so let's see. I'm trying to do some little quick research real quick. See, I'm trying to find the answers. I actually don't think that they have allowed many 100-yard games on defense, but we're finna figure it out. Let's see what their record was last year when they allowed 100 yards on the ground. Let's see, they were. And when you know it, all right, I think I found what I'm looking for, at least for last year. We can go with more depth down the line, but I found what I'm looking for in terms of last year. All right, so if you look right here, you can see it was a loss or a win right here in the column, and you can also see the yards allowed. So week 1, they allowed 99 yards on the ground, they lost. Week 3, they allowed 101 yards on the ground. They lost. Week 6, they allowed 168 yards on the ground. They lost. They played Kansas City. They got 112 yards on the ground. They lost. Matter of fact, the only game in the regular season where they allowed 100 or more yards on the ground and still won was against the Las Vegas Raiders. And they barely won their game in overtime. against a quarterback making his first career start. They won that game 37-34, but they did allow 135 yards and on the ground. So looks like even though Dallas Cowboys only rushed for 76 yards against them and lost. Following week, Philadelphia Eagles rushed for 148 and actually beat them boys. And I know that they did not have a quarterback when this happened, but you need to be able to find a way to run against this team. I know that it's a very tough task, but just judging by last year, most of their losses actually came when they were able to stop the run. I mean, most of their losses came when they were not able to stop the run. So you have to figure out a way. I know that that's the one of their biggest strengths on defense. Their run defense is one of their biggest strengths. But the teams who have beaten the 49ers, who have came close to beating the 49ers, were the teams that were actually able to run the ball on them. Atlanta is not a good team at all, but they had 168 yards on the ground and they beat them. Kansas City, I know there were other things that they did, besides the run game, but 112 yards, they were able to win. They were able to control the clock. They were able to shorten the game, and plus they scored like 100,000 points against them. So, I ain't going to even get too far away with that. Like, they were a far superior team. But you get where I'm going with this. Right? All these other teams, they up here beating them handedly. They only allow 51 yards on the ground, only allow 67, 63, 33, 69, 70, 79. This is the one game where they allowed 100 yards or more. And they actually won that game, at least in the regular season. Even in this Seattle game, Seattle, made it a very close game at the beginning. They were able to run and early on. They got this 104 yards, but like 84 of these yards came in the first half when it was still a very close game. Once the game got out of hand, they had some turnovers, this and that. They got blown out, and they only rushed for like 20 yards in the second half. Hey, JC Cowboy, what's up with you, my boy? Hey, me and my boy are going live tonight. We are going live. We're going to be BYOB. We're going to bring your old beverage to JC Lounge, and we're going to rock out like that, man. So salute to my boy. Tune in. It's going to be at 8 o'clock. So just tap in. We're going to rock out. Desmond Ironman. No, sure have it. What y'all talk about in the chat, man? What y'all talk about in the chat? It says Zach Cabernet is a great run blocker, great running back from UCLA, home run hitter plus good blocking. Yeah, so let's start with the obvious. So you have to beat them on the ground. And that's the hardest way to beat them because they are an outstanding run defense. So how do you improve your ability to run the ball against the San Francisco 49ers? Well, with anything, when it comes to running the ball, you need to improve your offensive line. The Dallas Cowboys, when they went into battle last year, they didn't have Terrence Steele. The year before that, Terrence Steele still wasn't playing because they let Lael Collin get his job back. So, first things first, Dallas Cowboys need to hope that Terrence Steele is healthy enough to be a contributor when the playoffs come around. I know he should be fine to start the year, this, that, and the third, but just in case, he needs to be ready. Oh shit! Don't even worry about that, man. I got you. Hold that thought. I didn't realize you ain't had no wrench, my boy. Action Pal, you are officially part of the wrench gang. Salute. Everybody, welcome my boy Action Pal to the wrench gang, man. He deserves it. He always out here showing love, chopping up in the liquor store. So yeah, you definitely deserve a wrench, my boy. I appreciate you. So yeah, so it starts up front. The Dallas Cowboys are going to have to improve their offensive line in order to be able to consistently rush against the San Francisco 49ers. We saw the steep drop off in the Dallas Cowboys running backs' ability to get positive yardage when Terrence Steele left, right? I keep this graph just for times like this, right? So you see right here is when Terrence Steele got hurt, and this is the production every week after. Decline. So, it ain't been pretty, in terms of in terms of running the ball, at least at the tail end of the season. So with the front seven that the San Francisco 49ers have, which is one of the best in the league, they got the Bosa boy, they got they got Fred Warner, they got my boy from Arkansas out there. They got a very good front seven. Then they went and added, they went and added Hargrave, so they got one of the best front sevens in the front office. I mean, the front office in the NFL. So with that said, you have to be able to be stout up front, just as they're stout up front. You got to be able to not only run the ball against them, but you need to also be able to neutralize that pass rush that they have. So it's really a double-edged sword. So yes, you want to be able to run the ball, but you also want to be able to keep Dak Prescott upright against those litany of pass rushes that they have. Because they have plenty of guys that they can send out to the quarterback. So improving the offensive line, that's going to be the first thing. So everybody put O-line, in the chat real quick. So, like I said, we're going to tie this back into the draft. We already done signed who we're going to sign in free agency. But, we're going to tie this back into the draft, doing it just like this. We're going to put O-line out there. We know we need an O-line to protect Dak from those pass rushers. And we need a better O-line to consistently run against them. We seen that you could beat them when you're able to run against them. The problem is not too many people are able to run against them. That's why they win double-digit games every damn year. That's why they made it to the NFC Championship game the last 2 seasons in a row. Right? Remember, the 49ers have been to back-to-back NFC Championship games. They are doing things that we're trying to do. So, they're a team that's going to be in the way. And listen, we're preparing to beat the 49ers. We're already going to play Philadelphia 2 times throughout the course of the year. So we know what they do. We know what they can bring to the table. We're going to be prepared for the Eagles if we play them in the postseason. We would have had to play them 2 times already. We'll have 2 games worth of film. Plus we got the 2 games worth of film from the year before. And, we're used to them at this point. Like when we play them, this is going to be the 6th time in the last 3 years that we played the Eagles. I think Atlanta was 3rd in rushing. If I'm not mistaken, I think you're right. It's something like that. I know that Atlanta had a pretty decent rushing attack. They didn't have any good quarterback play, which really held them back. But, that's neither here nor there. Dak is a dancing fool back there. Our pass pro has been bad the last 2 or 3 years. Dak does not receive recognition for dealing with that. Fortifying the O-line elevates the entire offense. I definitely do agree with you. Because last year the Dallas Cowboys were 28 in pass protection and pass block win rate. The year before that they were 22nd. The year before that they weren't very good either. So yeah, they did not have very good pass pro all the way around for the last 3 years at least. So yeah, fortifying the offensive line is definitely going to help the offense as a whole. It's going to help Dak Prescott, and it's going to help your running backs. It's going to help your running backs as well. So, I still got this graph on the out there, but the running backs were averaging under 3 yards a carry. At the end of the year, they had everything to do with Terrence Steele not being available for your offense. So everybody go ahead, put O-line in the chat box. I need everybody to participate. Put O-line in the chat box. That's gonna be one of the positions that I feel we need. Dallas Cowboys need to draft for O-line. Hey, shout out to Steve Jones, Freight Train. Shout out for the $10 donation. They got you 2 entries into the raffle. Matter of fact, let me go out here and add this back in for you. All right. So Freight Train. Make sure you didn't send before. Okay, yeah. So they got you 2 entries. Bet. All right. So where else are the 49ers susceptible at? We know that they have a very superb run defense. We know they got very good pass defense. But where else are they susceptible at? We know to beat them, you need to be able to control the trenches. You need to be able to run the ball against them, and when it is time to pass the ball, you need to be able to protect your quarterback. So we got that down pat. So let's take a look at these other statistics, right? Offensively, because defensively, I think we're fine as well. We have, matter of fact, I know exactly what I need to look at. We're talking about our offense imposing our will. We got to also prevent their offense opposing their will against us. All right, so let's take a look at the 2022 rushing offenses. Okay. I'm finna share the screen again. Hey, what's up with your sugar daddy one? I appreciate you for coming over, showing love to the liquor store, my boy. Thank you so much, man. So I'm finna share the screen again. And I'm finna show you the offensive side of the thing. I know you can't see it, right? I know this shit is small, so forgive me. But right here, this is where the 49ers are. They were the 1, 2, 3, 4. You're right. Falcons were the third rushing team. So they were the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They were the 7th best rushing team in the National Football League. They ran the ball. They rushed for 2,360 yards, which was ahead of us. We ran for 2,298, but they did it on 27 less attempts. Right. So in terms of attempts, they're below us, but they actually were more efficient in the way that they ran the ball. When you look at their yard per attempt, they end up with 4.7 yards a rushing attempt, which is still top 10. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so they're actually tied for seven best yards per carry. So when you look at how they're actually able to attack a team, we already know they got Christian McCaffrey, right? You know they got a very good offensive line. You know that Trent Williams is one of the best, offensive linemen in the National Football League. They can definitely lean on their run game to manhandle the team, to impose their will. And to keep the ball out of their quarterback's hands, right? And let me just segue real quick. So y'all know that Jimmy Garoppolo, he has 4 playoff wins, right? He has won 4 playoff games. Salute to him. Did you know in the 4 playoff games that he played, Jimmy Garoppolo had the four playoff games that he won, right? In the 4 playoff games that Jimmy Garoppolo won, he threw for 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions, right? Because remember, when he played us, he threw no touchdowns and an interception. They still beat us in Dallas, right? When he beat Aaron Rodgers, he did not have a single touchdown or a single pick. I don't even think he threw for 100 yards. So, the reason that he's was able to win those games and have success is because they were relying on him. They relied on their run game. Hey, damn Dizzle, what's up with you, man? So yeah, they relied on their run game, and they were able to win those games despite not having stellar quarterback play. So they really were taking the ball out of his hands the same way that they really were taking the ball out of Brock Purdy's hands. They made plays here and there, but they were only asked to participate. They were not asked to lead the way. They were only asked to participate. So, that's why it is very crucial to us to find a way to neutralize the 49ers run game, right? If you were able to cut the head off the snake, because everywhere else, the quarterback might lead the way, but we have already seen that the San Francisco 49ers can win games with next to no good quarterback play. Now, Josh Johnson, is the exception. He's the one quarterback that I saw go out there and not be productive. But, we saw them win games with Jimmy Garoppolo. They won games with CJ Beathard or Brutal, whatever the hell, however the hell you say the boy name. They won games with Brock Purdy, who was Mr. Irrelevant. So yeah, they are able to do what they need to do, man. Like they got a stellar offensive line. Now they got a great running back. So we got to find a way to neutralize that. And this is the thing. I think we have athletic enough linebackers, right? I think we have the prerequisite defensive coordinator. What we do not have is a good run stopping defensive tackle. Yeah, there is an indictment on Johnson because everybody else was at least serviceable out there. So yeah, we're gonna just they got Sam Darnold this year, so they should get pretty decent quarterback play. I'm not saying that Sam Darnold is spectacular, but we all know that Shanahan will get the most out of him. So I expect for him to actually have his best season. I expect for him to have his best season. If he's going to be quarterback one for the season, I expect for Sam Darnold to have his best statistical season of his career because he's going to have a lot of easy play action scenarios. He's going to have a very stellar offensive line, a very stellar run game. He's going to be surrounded by talent. He's going to have an all-pro wide receiver, in Deebo Samuel. Ayuk had 1,000 yards receiving last year. We all know that Kittle is an all-pro tight end. Then you look at a guy like McCaffrey, who is a very great running back. So like he's set up to succeed. Like Sam Darnold is going to be in the best situation of his career, and I do expect him to put up close to Pro Bowl numbers. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think that he is a good quarterback, but he's going to be in a very good situation with good offensive personnel and a good offensive scheme. So I can easily see Sam Darnold, maybe getting some Pro Bowl votes, maybe making it to the Pro Bowl because he'll have some very efficient numbers. We've seen it time and time again with the 49ers. But yes, so we already stated that we need to be able to run the ball against them. We also need to be able to stop them from running the ball against us. So everybody put defensive tackle, right? Give me your top 5 running backs, Henny Low. Well, let's see. Are we talking about in the draft or in the league right now? We'll clarify that, and then I'll give you your answer. Because if you're talking about in the draft, then it's Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs are my top 2. I really think that the boy from Tulane should be in everybody's top 3 or 4. Oh, in the league, that's a very tough one. That's a tough one in the top 5. You got to give love to Josh Jacobs because he just led the league in rushing, so he should be up there. And this is in no particular order. Derrick Henry is up there in the top 5. Let's see who else. Because Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry. I think Chris McCaffrey is in there. You might be able to make an argument for Saquon. But yeah, man, like there's some very good running backs. I actually had to break down the numbers and look at that. So yeah, I don't really know off the top. Like those are 4 real good ones I can think off the top of my head. And then to answer your question about, hey, it's too easy. What's up with you, man? I appreciate you for the donation. That gets you another entry into Eckler. I'm glad you brought up Eckler, my boy. Yeah, matter of fact, Eckler, like he led the entire league in total touchdowns. In total touchdowns, man. He had like 18 total touchdowns. But yeah, it's too easy. That was your 7th entry. So you have 7 entries. Regina Green, you have 20. Dwayne Brown has let's see, Dwayne Brown. How many Dwayne Brown has? 12. And then DC for Life has 9. So like those are the people with the best chances of winning the jersey right now. He said no Chubb. That's hard, man. See, that's why that's a hard conversation to have, because Chubb is a beast, but then you got to give love to the guys. Yeah, Tawan Spears from Tulane is definitely a guy that should be a top in the draft. Like I would love to get him in like the third or fourth round if he's available. But yeah, but put defensive tackle in the in on that list too. So we're gonna say offensive line, because we need to fortify our offensive line to be able to run the ball against the 49ers, and we need to be able to protect Dak Prescott for their pass rushers, because they have a magnificent front seven that can do everything, right? So offensive line at the top of the list. Then you go to defensive line. You need to be able to stop the run. Like, they are an amazing team when their quarterback does not have to play, right? But we saw what happens when their quarterbacks are asked to go out there and win games, right? The games that Jimmy Garoppolo lost, like the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game, he was asked to do more than participate. He missed key throws, right? They got away from the run. He missed key throws, and so they lost the game. And it's the same thing. They didn't have a quarterback. They were able to lock in and on the run, and the Eagles were able to beat them. I really don't use the Eagles as the schematic to beat them, because they didn't have a quarterback. But it has been shown that if you're able to stop the run and ask their quarterbacks to do more than just participate and make cameos and guest appearances and shit, you can stop them. So offensive line and defensive line. So those are the two at the top of the list of building your team to stop the San Francisco 49ers. Right? Because if you look at the losses they took last year, like they only had one regular season game where they allowed 99 or more rushing yards and won. Right? You look at the postseason, they allowed 148 yards on the ground to the Eagles, and they lost. So you need to be able to run the ball against the 49ers to beat them and protect your quarterback. You need to be able to stop their ability to run on you. Like, they were a top rushing team in the National Football League last year. They ran for what? Let me make sure this is in order. Ran for 2,360 yards, average 4.7 yards a carry. Had 20 rushing touchdowns on the ground, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, was the fifth in the league. So they were one of the better rushing teams in the National Football League. You need to be able to take that away from them. So we got that down pat, right? Everybody put O-line and DT in the chat box. Put OLDT from everybody. So those are two things right now we know for damn sure we need. We want to survive going to war with them boys. Because we're going to have to see them. We're going to have to play. Listen, we play them in the regular season, and we all can pretty much guarantee they're going to be in the postseason. So realistically, if we want to get to where we want to go, we need to be able to beat the San Francisco 49ers 2 times next year, when we have failed to beat them the last 2 times we've seen them. So put that into perspective. Because they're going, and listen, the regular season game is going to matter too, because we're going to be playing for playoff seeding, right? I fully expect the Dallas Cowboys to be in contention to win our division, but we need to be trying to get the number 1 seed, right? Us and the 49ers, the Eagles, guys like that, we will be playing for the number 1 seed. So we cannot afford to lose a game like that to the San Francisco 49ers. We need to win this head-to-head so we can have the tiebreaker over them, right? Perfect scenario, we win our division, they win their division, but because we beat them head-to-head, they have to be the 2 seed, we be the 1 seed, right? Or, even if we can't get the number 1 seed, we need at least have home field advantage when we play them. Like, another team can win the 1 seed, but can we at least get the 2 seed so they're the 3rd or 4th at best and have to come to Dallas? So yes, you need the head-to-head win against the 49ers next year to ensure we meet them in the playoffs, that it goes to they go down in Dallas. We already tried going on the road to beating their ass. It did not work. I know they walked into Dallas and beat us, but we have a better offensive coordinator, and we have And we have an actual good tandem of offensive personnel now. Starter Kick Duke said wide receiver, O-line, and defensive tackle. Said, I don't trust Gallup and Tolbert. Well, that's fine. Like I said, we'll know more. And listen, the Dallas Cowboys are going to take a wide receiver in the draft. I don't think it's going to be. So all of y'all were spot on. Yeah. And look, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are going to draft, and it's really going to depend, right? I can't say what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. I do believe the Dallas Cowboys have a chance to get a guy like Paris Johnson or get a guy like the Jones boy from Georgia. They should jump at that chance. But I also think there will be wide receivers there that will make Mike McCarthy blush, right? I do think they have a chance to get Jordan Addison. I do think that a guy like Tank Dell could move up the boards into the first round and be worth the 26th pick. I do think, that certain ones, the wide receivers can fall. JSN didn't even play much last year. So it just really depends on what people think. I think that one of these first round wide receivers will be there. And apparently the Dallas Cowboys think the same, right? I think Dallas Cowboys think the same because if you look at the 30 visits, the Dallas Cowboys interviewed like four top wide receivers. I know they looked at Zay Flowers. They had a private workout with Tank Dell. They had a Dallas meeting with JSN. I think Jordan Addison visited, if I'm not mistaken. So they looked at it. They looked at a bunch of everybody. I could be wrong about Jordan Addison. It might be somebody else. But point is, like they definitely did their due diligence on wide receiver. I will say this though. I do think there are enough wide receivers in this year's draft where you can get one in like the 3rd or 4th round and you'll still be happy with the outcome. Right? I don't think a lot of people are talking about Trey Palmer. I think Trey Palmer is a guy that can come in here, and have an instant impact on the slot role, ran a 4.3. He's a guy that Mike McCarthy was rumored to be very fond of. You got guys later in the draft, like my boy from Arkansas, Matt Landers, who I think is a very good prospect, even though he only has a 6th or 7th round grade right now. So there's plenty of wide receivers you could bring in that fit the role of having speed. Being a guy that could be your 3rd wide receiver. So, but I don't think there is a single tackle that you can get in the later rounds that would be week or be year 1 ready to come in and produce for you like Tyler Smith did. I think you might be able to find some guards in the 2nd round. But yeah, so like these top 100 picks are going to be very crucial. I think if you're actually going to go out there, say why I'm for a wide receiver early, somebody can play now and be ready, maybe even be wide receiver 2. It's going to really depend. Like you got to be a bad mup to come in here and beat Brandon Cooks, man. You got to be a bad mup to come in here and beat Brandon Cooks. But I do understand why you're not sold on Michael Gallup and Jalen Tolbert. Michael Gallup has had 2 back-to-back down years because of his injury. Jalen Tolbert did next to nothing for you last year. So I completely understand, Starter Kid Duke, why you aren't sold on them and think we need another wide receiver. I also, am down for them to take a wide receiver if he's the best player available. No, I always come back around to that because if all is even, right? If the best wide receiver in the 1st round is there and the best tackle, right, in this year's draft is there, you would have to go tackle because tackles are just like quarterbacks in a sense, right? That's why there's not too many. Like there's 32 teams. There are not 32 starting left tackles in the National Football League, right? So, it's hard. What I mean? Like I would love to get somebody like Quentin Johnson. I like Jordan Addison. I like Zay Flowers. I wouldn't mind somebody like Jalen Hyatt in the 2nd. I don't think Jalen Hyatt is a 1st round wide receiver no more. Just to be real with you. But, it really just depends on who all is there. Because you won't really get too many good tackles So it just really depends on who's there. And say we are, yeah. And that's why I want us to fortify this line. Because listen, Dak Prescott has been balling his ass off with a shaky line. Imagine if he had a line like he did when he was a rookie. Imagine if he had that line like in 2016 with the way he has developed as a passer and as a quarterback. Right? So imagine if he had that going for him. Imagine, if he had, time to throw in the pocket, and your running back doesn't have to stay back there and be an extra blocker because the integrity of your pass pro is so shaky that instead of going out there and running a route, you got to stay in and be a 6-line lineman. Right? Imagine if he actually had an extra playmaker out there for him out the backfield because you were able to improve your line. So that's why I feel like we should go ahead and upgrade the offensive line. So Darnell Wright, best pick for Cowboys. I like Darnell Wright. I don't think a lot of people are familiar with him, but I definitely like Darnell Wright. And the beautiful thing about it, he has played both right tackle and left tackle. Right? So it's really going to depend on how the Dallas Cowboys view him. They view him as a left tackle. I definitely would want the Dallas Cowboys to take him. Said JC, yeah, JC been very adamant about that. He definitely thinks that Jordan Addison is the best wide receiver in this year's draft. And to be honest with you, I don't think he's wrong. You know what I mean? Like you can make some arguments for some other guys, but like Jordan Addison is a guy that has had a lot of good production. They out here doing yard work. Yeah, I know y'all probably been hearing it going on so far, but yeah, they out here doing some yard work. And look, I'm a country boy, so I do appreciate that because I'm gonna go out there, sit on the porch, drink some coffee, and look crazy. After I finish this show and make my run into town, get my grandson, things like that. So imagine they could block for a said running back also. Yeah, man, because especially down the stretch, like Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, their production both dipped. Both their production dipped at the end of last season because of the inability of the offensive line to consistently win up front. So because of that, like I really want them to fix this offensive line. And as it gets closer and closer to the draft, that's the way that I'm leaning. I know it's not a sexy pick. You know what I mean? Like when I was younger, I used to always get upset when the Dallas Cowboys used to pick offensive line because offensive linemen don't catch touchdowns or celebrate in the end zone. But as I matured as a football player and as a football fan and as a content creator and understood the importance of protection, the importance of having time to operate in the pocket, the importance of run blocking for your running backs. I've grown to appreciate offensive line play a little bit more. So, when I was younger, I like, man, F that line. But now that I fully understand that they're just like, just like the backbone of the team, because you break your back, you can't walk. You can't walk. You break your spinal column, you can't move. You can't raise your arms and shit. Your legs will be perfectly fine. You have on Jordans. You know what I'm saying? You could have arms of 40-inch biceps or whatever, but you break your back, you can't move. It's over with. So yeah, so I've definitely grown over the years to appreciate offensive line play because you need it. Yeah, man, I like Texarkana too. It's wild at some places, but it's wild everywhere, man. So yeah, I live out in the country, so it's all cool for me. Like I live away from we live out the way, so Yeah, Starter Kit Dude, you should definitely check out my boy Breakdown. He's on his channel. Michael Autry. Yeah. Darnell Wright will help the run game. I like him. I like the Jones boy from Georgia. But this is the guy I know will not be there, Perry Johnson Jr. He's too damn good. I keep going back to that he remind me of Tyron Smith from an athletic standpoint. Because like they said, if you wanted him to, he can go out there and play tight end for you. They said you want him to, you can line up a tight end. I like, man, that's an athlete. And listen, we already have an offensive line coach. Then we got Big Duke out there training these boys up. Like Big Duke is a monster what he does. So shout out to Big Duke, man. If you don't know who he is, he's the offensive line guru that be training up a lot of these guys in the Dallas area. Matter of fact, everybody that plays offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys seeks out Big Duke. He said, me too, I have 5 acres, my football field just like Dak in the backyard. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I'm gonna have to go out there and try to catch some passes, man. But yes, that's the way I feel about it. So let's recap real quick, because I know there's some people that are late coming into the stream. So we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys should be building their team right now to beat the damn 49ers. Right? That was the whole gist of this live. So if you look right here, boom, these are Dak Prescott's playoff numbers. The ones at the top are him against the 49ers. The ones at the bottom are here against everybody else. So 2 games against the 49ers, 46 of 80 passing for 57.5 completion percentage, 230 yards per game, only averaged 5.8 yards an attempt, 2 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions, 1 rushing touchdown, and a passer rating of only 66.7. The 4 games against everybody else, he put up elite numbers. 91 of 136 for a 67% completion percentage, 274.7 yards per game, 107.3 passer rating, 9 passing touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, and 2 rushing touchdowns. So to put that into perspective, when he plays everybody else, he has 11 total touchdowns to only 2 turnovers. And when he plays the 49ers, he had just as many touchdowns as turnovers. When he plays everybody else, he has one of the best passer ratings, in Cowboys in really in postseason history, 107.3. And when he plays the 49ers, he has a passer rating of a backup quarterback. When he plays everybody else, he's averaging almost 300 yards a game. And when he plays the 49ers, he only is averaging 230 yards. Right. When he plays the 49ers, he has a completion percentage of only 57.5. When he plays everybody else, he has a completion percentage of 67%. To put that into perspective, Dak Prescott is 8th all-time in career completion percentage, and his completion percentage is only 66.6 in the regular season. The 67% in the postseason will be one of the best marks in National Football League history. So he's putting up elite level production when he doesn't play the 49ers, and then when he plays the 49ers, the production is horrible. That has a lot to do with scheme, the way that we match up, personnel, this, that, and the third. So because we know that Dak Prescott is capable, because he's shown it against every other team that he played, we were talking about how do we stop the 49ers? How do we beat them? Well, last year, they lost every single game except for one. Every game that they allowed 99 yards or more on the ground, they lost it except for one. And even that game went to overtime. Right? When you look, and so that's how you beat them. You beat them by running the ball on them. They're one of the best teams at stopping the run, so it's not very often, that they lose games, because they are able to stop the run. But when you actually are able to do so, you can beat them. We already know that the quarterback situation over there is always shaky. So, they try not to have them participating in the offense too much. Remember, Jimmy Garoppolo has 4 playoff wins, but only 1 passing touchdown in those games. He's one passing touchdown to 3 interceptions in those 4 playoff games that he won. Also, we have figured out that we need to be able to stop them from running the ball. They were one of the best running teams in the National Football League last year. They were top 10 in yards per attempt. They were top 10 in total yardage, and they were top 10 in attempts. So they're going to run the ball early and often, and they're very efficient when they do run it. So to marry that back into what we need to do, because we already know that free agency is over, The Dallas Cowboys should be looking at offensive line to enable you to run the ball against them and to protect your quarterback from their front seven. Because remember, in 2021, he got sacked 5 times by them. Pressured 20. So yes, Dak Prescott was pressured 20 times and he got sacked 5 times in 2021. So yes, you definitely need to improve your offensive line and you want to go to war with the 49ers. Plus, they just added Hargraves, who is an all-pro defensive tackle, who had 11 sacks last year. So improve your offensive line. Stop them from running the ball by improving your defensive line. So because of that, I think the Dallas Cowboys need to find an offensive line, maybe a guard or a tackle, whichever one is best. And they definitely need to fortify their defensive interior by adding a run-stopping defensive tackle in the draft. First round, maybe not, but you definitely can spare a second-round pick to fortify your trenches. So with all that said, though, man, that is how I'm feeling right now. Like, Dak Prescott has shown that he can be the guy that you want him to be, but, you just got to figure out how to get past the 49ers. That's the only team he struggles with. So you can help him get over the 49ers. He can help you beat everybody else. He can play well enough for you to beat everybody else, and that's all we can ask for. So yeah, welcome to the liquor store. I appreciate y'all for tapping in, showing love. I wouldn't be mad at Mozzie Smith for 26, man. Listen, I hope Mozzie falls down the boards, man. Because while I wouldn't mind him at 26, I'm not as opposed to defensive tackle as everybody else. I would much prefer him to fall to 58. I would much prefer him to fall to 58. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming over to the liquor store and supporting. Remember, I know I announced like 4 or 5 times a show, but I want to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity to participate. They may not have had a chance. We're still doing the $5 raffle for a Dallas Cowboy jersey of the winner's choice. All you got to do to enter is send $5 to the Cash App for an entry. You can get as many entries as you want. The only thing I ask is that you only send while I'm live. So, I'll be doing the drawing on the 25th before I leave out to go to the draft. So I appreciate y'all. Remember, drink and drive responsibly. But if you see an Eagles fan in the middle of the road, you have my permission to run their goofy ass over. Because they roaches. They roaches anyway. You just get a little splatter on your window. You'll be all right. So y'all know what it is, man. I appreciate y'all. Much love, and I'll be back.